Hello there, Jason and Elizabeth. We are live.
Hey.
Hey there.
How
Elizabeth, how excited. Yet again, another exciting afternoon. Can you believe who we have with us today?
Definitely a favorite, and we're excited to let everybody know why you're one of our favorite people.
It's nice of you. It's great to be here.
Jason Gesing, CEO of eXp Realty. Thank you for sitting down and chatting with the two of us today.
Two of my favorite people. So happy to do it.
Okay, so take us back just to start off. It's been quite an awesome journey with eXp Realty. Over 10 years now, right? 10 years.
That's correct.
Almost.
I think it was 10 years in January, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, and it's gone by.
Will you share a little bit of the early days with us?
Well, share a little bit of the early days, but Renee, you and I are very fortunate to know who we're sitting here visiting with, but nobody else knows necessarily. So introduce yourself, let us know who you are, and yeah, take us through your journey.
All right. Well, guide me as you see fit. But let's see. I'm born in Boston, still live in Massachusetts, and in some form or fashion, guys, I've actually been in the real estate space since 2002, whether that's as a lawyer, brokerage owner, managing broker, on the sales side even, and I've always loved the business. It's always been a passion of mine. In fact, when I became a lawyer in 2002, the area that I really wanted to focus on was in business and real estate and property and land use and zoning and all of those things. So it's always been something that I've had, a great interest in. And over the last 10 years, it's been very good to me, certainly. But I practiced law probably for the better part of 10 years, I think 2002 until about right around December 2010. And I just sort of happened upon Glenn Sanford, and by great fortune. There was a colleague of mine that I knew who had presented a webinar that preceded Glenn's explanation of eXp. And back in 2010, of course, the world looked a lot different. Everything looked a lot different, and the concept was a lot more foreign and unfamiliar. But it was just so sensible and logical. It made all the sense in the world to me, and I knew I had to be part of it. And I think a lot of what drove that decision too was Glenn himself, because he stops around here. There's always something new, always something exciting that we're working on. And sometimes circumstances, as they are today, of course, with the coronavirus, cause you to have to react quickly and pivot and do things. And so I want to say to you guys and to all of our agents who are watching, and to all agents in the industry, I hope that they're taking care of themselves, and you guys are too, and your families. So, but beyond that, I've got a wife, Christina, 2 kids, Henry and Harrison, who are, let's see, they are now 13. I have a teenager, 13 and 11, and they are fantastic. They're out playing spike ball right now.
We all have 13-year-olds. So
that's
we
right.
can relate very well.
Sam and Henry, that's right. That's right. Of course, you've been
and
up
Trip.
here.
Yeah, and Trip. So, Jason, it's funny because you have been here since the beginning with Glenn, and there's not many of us that have been from the inception all the way to where we are now. And when I was introduced to eXp and met Glenn first, and then I was fortunate, Jill and I were fortunate to have dinner with you and sit down and get to know you as a person. I say this over and over, and I've said this in interviews and articles, but people are like, why eXp? And I said, it was Glenn Sanford and Jason Gesing. People join people. And you two are some of the most amazing leaders we've always, well, I want to speak for me, but I'll probably speak for Renee as well. You're amazing leaders that we've had the opportunity to ever work with, regardless of the industry. But I am so fortunate and blessed for that first encounter, and that we can call you friend. So thank you for leading.
That's very nice of you. I'm laughing because you know the story. I don't know if Renee knows the story about that dinner, but
I wasn't saying anything about the story. I had nothing. No, that's our secret.
Oh, no. Now it comes out. It's on the table now. We need to know about the dinner.
It's all right. I don't embarrass easily. So I'm happy to share it. But so I fly into Austin, and of course, I was going to meet with Gene the next day. And preceding that, I had dinner with Elizabeth and Jill, and my flight was a little bit late. So I get there and I rush to the hotel, and And I try to remain casual for as long as I can whenever I go anywhere. And I get into the bathroom and I shave. And of course, I still to this day, it's the worst shaving cut I've ever had. And I show up to dinner, meeting Elizabeth and Jill for the very first time, wanting to make a great impression. And throughout the entire dinner, I mean, anyway, I'll stop there with the detail. But I thought to myself, gosh, this couldn't be going worse. And you guys were so understanding and kind about it. So, but I'll never forget it.
We can giggle about that now.
Oh yeah,
that's funny.
Yep.
Everything worked out well, I would say.
Well, it has. Knock on wood. I mean, I've met some amazing people in this company. I have great friends. I feel like in this company, I have an extended family in this company, and I'm enormously grateful. And you two certainly are at the top of the list.
We appreciate that. It's a very special place. Since we're talking about the connectivity in the community, Jason, let's talk a little bit about culture. I've been hearing, certainly now more than ever, industries and other real estate brokerages now, we're all going to work remotely now. We're remote and we're virtual now. eXp Realty has been working remotely and in the cloud for a decade. How do you think eXp has managed to not only build, but nurture and evolve culture in a cloud-based model?
Yeah, you know, I think there is, as the world, I think, first of all, I think that the fact that we started that way and that we were operating that way, I mean, it's not as if an existing brokerage that was assembled and had, you know, some size to it, all of a sudden decided to move to the cloud. I mean, Glenn had his team, certainly he moved them over, but I think the fact that it has grown organically, that it has grown from the roots right from the very beginning in that way. I think we've had some key staff members along the way, particularly early on, Gabe LeBeau, you know, instrumental, Lori Robinson and a bunch of other people. But I think the fact that we operated in that way was a bit of a galvanizing force. We knew we were different and we were proud of it. And we understood what the difference was going to mean in terms of opportunity. And I think that sort of lends itself to a very supportive environment, very supportive culture. A culture where, you know, agents are willing to try new things if they think it might help their business, even if those things were a little bit uncomfortable at first. And certainly for a lot of people early on, especially early on before Virbela, you know, the world was, I'm sure, uncomfortable, bizarre at first impression. But that, I think, drove a lot of the culture early on. I think Glenn certainly, you know, it starts at the top. And as I said, in terms of why I joined, you know, I really value people who are modest, and Glenn to this day just wants to be a mentor to anyone that needs a mentor, and I find that incredibly admirable. Secondarily, in 2013, when we did the reverse merger and became a public company and introduced the concept of agent ownership, to me that was really the defining point where we said, okay, we're all going to support one another, and we're all going to think about two things. We're going to think about our individual businesses, but we're also going to think about the businesses of the agents who are alongside us, our fellow shareholders. And in addition, what is it that we can do? What is the experience that we have in our past? What is it that's unique about us that we can bring to the company to help try and build a really great company? And I think that continues to this day. We were just looking at the extend a hand numbers, you know, and sort of what the growth has been, even just within the last couple of days, and it's been phenomenal. And I think it reflects a spirit of a generosity among our agents. And so, you know, I know we went through the exercise of identifying our values, critically important, but I think foundationally, again, starting with Glenn, I think foundationally, we sort of knew what they were all along, and it was great to memorialize them, but it's critically important. I think that's the thing that people probably have a difficult time grasping if they've not been into our world, or if they've not spent any time in our company, is just how strong it is culturally, just how much it really turns on the relationships between agents, the relationship between agents and staff, agents and their brokers. And I think that, you know, you wouldn't think that necessarily if you're on the outside looking in, but it's more powerful than any culture I've ever been a part of at any organization.
Well, I think it also shows well when everybody's happy and doing well and their businesses are growing and we're supporting each other. I was super excited about Real Trends that just came out, and we're #1 in the US. And I think
yeah, go ahead.
Amazing when you think about how we are structured, how we conduct business. even with everything going on right now, we're all still super connected, and we're really working on our business in this time. So it's not that anything has really disrupted us. And so we're able to service people at a very high level. And when those numbers came out and I saw that, I was really excited because we're doing things nobody's ever done, especially in the current climate.
Yeah, so let's see. Number one, I think on independent brokerages, they just came out today, the numbers, and I think it was number one year-over-year increase in transaction sides and number three overall on transaction sides. I mean, just it's been incredible to sort of see that happen and evolve and the accomplishments. And it's a testament to our agents. You know, you were kind enough back in January, Elizabeth, I asked you if you could sort of help assemble a list of people who have come over to the company who were successful where they were, but who upon arrival at eXp really saw their business explode. And you were pretty easily able to come up with quite a list. And I think that's sort of the immersion into the culture and being able to attend, you know, up to 75 hours of live training every week. I know Dave Kennord and Curtis Dixon have done a phenomenal job in the last several days putting together the Excel program where agents can specifically focus on those things that are going to help them get through this period. Which we're opening up, by the way, to others in the industry, not in an effort to do anything other than give them a place to go, give them some things that they can sort of focus on other than what's going on in the world, and you know, just a place to socialize. You guys were at the Icon luncheon, not the luncheon, the Icon roundtable that we had, I think it was last Tuesday, and just being in there. Right. And being in the room with other people and actually being able to have conversations with other people and feel like you're right next to them, I think is a really powerful thing. And I think it's a thing that a lot of people inside of real estate, outside of real estate, they really need right now because we're all in our houses. We're all being really careful. But you need to have that interaction. You need to have that stimulus. And we're fortunate because we don't have to make the adjustment. We've been operating in this way for 10 years. And we're just ready to keep building the community and supporting each other through what is absolutely a difficult time.
On that thought, Jason, if we think about the agents who are at home right now and wondering, what can an agent be working on today immediately to continue to pour into the strong foundation and make sure they're nurturing the relationships that they can and should be to withstand this next phase that we're in?
I think a couple of things. One is, you know, certainly, you know, just do a check-in on your clients, right? Just see how they're doing and, you know, if everything's okay. I mean, neighbors should be doing that with other neighbors, whether they have a client, you know, relationship or not. The other thing is, you know, really try and learn and absorb as much as you can. And I think depending on how things play out, you know, there are things to learn about potentially REOs and short sales and sort of what are the skills that you need in order to do that. I know that Stacy Annan is working on that at the moment. And we've got some people, you know, Holly Maloney out of Ohio, who's got great experience in short sale negotiation and an expert in the field, and she's teaching classes. And so I would say focus on that. I also would, you know, people should you know, pay attention to the details of some of the legislation coming out of DC, because I think last I heard that there's going to be quite a bit of money made available in the form of SBA loans that are forgivable, and they're going to be, I think they call it the Payroll Protection Act, and it's going to be available to independent contractors. So there are ways to sort of weather this both within the business and without. But when this passes, there's going to be a lot of activity in the market, and that activity could be the result of people in duress. It could be the result of people, you know, seeing opportunity. But people will need their agents. Clients will need their agents. People are going to lose jobs. People are losing jobs now. We just saw the unemployment numbers come out today, record unemployment. Hopefully it stops. Hopefully people are able to find work. But, you know, people that just 2 or 3 months ago never would have thought about selling their property are going to be in a position where they need to sell, and they need to sell quickly. And so perhaps more than ever, you know, folks are going to need good, trusted advisors as they navigate the process.
How do you feel eXp Realty is best poised to serve the agents and also serve the consumer?
Well, I think, you know, with respect to the agents, I mean, obviously we're still able to bring everybody together, right? We had to cancel our shareholder meeting, unfortunately, in April down in your neck of the woods, Renee. Always,
I know. I'm
always,
sad you're not coming to Orlando yet.
not yet, not
Everyone's
yet.
coming back though.
But we're going to be able to do that in World. So that's really exciting. I think about the World, just a lot. I mean, Virbela, I was over on the Virbela campus a little bit earlier today. In fact, Elizabeth, you're in Austin. I met with somebody from the University of Texas yesterday in Virbela. Met with somebody. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Right.
That's all right. That's all right.
Do you see what color I have on today?
I'm actually very impressed by that. Thank you. But Jason, that's okay. I am in Austin. You're right. I'm a little outnumbered.
I have, just this morning I was in there and we had a professor from South Korea. And if you go into the Virbela Open Campus now, and I don't know if you guys have been on there at all, but virbela.com, you can go in and the first thing you see is just to the left, you can see a roster and a directory of the folks and the organizations that are using team rooms, that are using campuses, to sort of continue to maintain culture, maintain collaboration, maintain some control over their business and keep things going. So that's been really exciting to see. I've probably gone off on a little bit of a tangent.
It's important though, and even Elizabeth and I were speaking with Glenn a couple days ago, and he obviously felt very similar to what you feel. Is now is the time for businesses to, maybe for the first time, take a look at the additional way you can run your business, right? And so it's a time to take a look at maybe bringing in a platform like Virbela that will keep that sense of community and culture that, again, we've been doing as eXp Realty agents for a very, very long time. Jeff and I here in Orlando have been with eXp over 2.5 years, and we're not skipping a beat. Where real estate is still transacting at the moment. It might be at a slightly slower pace, but we are still closing. We still have sales and offers being drafted. We're prepared, and we haven't missed a beat as far as any meeting or any training because, well, this is how we've been operating for 2.5 years now.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, so, some of these states, some of the markets, of course, it's almost impossible, to do a showing or to close a deal. So, as an agent, you want to be figuring out how you can facilitate showings without putting anybody at risk. And so, I don't want to boast about our offerings, but we've got, eXp 360 tours. And I know some of the top teams and other agents are using that. I think Kyle Whistle out in San Diego was well underway in capturing every property that he had on the market. And others are following suit. We're seeing a lot of inquiries about eXp 360 tours. The iBuyer platform, where we don't take inventory, is potentially a solution to a seller, as things become a bit more challenging. But yeah, Virbela, I think about Virbela in the sense that, people from time to time both in the business, but also in other businesses. I remember speaking with somebody from a financial services firm with about 30,000 customers and financial advisory services, and it's a subscription recurring revenue model. And the biggest challenge, they could have taken 30,000 to 60,000, but they can't find enough good bookkeepers, right, or good accountants. But of course, they're sort of limited in that search to where they're located and where people congregate in the office. And one of the things that has been, a great fortune for us is that we're able to go out and find talent wherever it may lie. But the point is, very, very rarely do you get a challenge that a business owner puts out there that you don't think to yourself, or even sometimes tell them that, Virbela solves that. Everything from finding, talent in a tight labor market to, making sure people don't steal your sandwich out of the fridge, because we don't have one of those. So it's and everything in between.
I have a pretty good closet in Virbela. I do like that. I have lots of options, lots of shoes.
What is that map behind you, by the way? I stop wondering.
It's Austin. It's the Austin.
Okay.
The Austin.
Neighborhood. Okay.
Sorry, I had to disappear there for a minute. Our fire alarm started going off. Like the joys of working from home. And I'm just like, it's because the yard guys did something in the garage, but all my kids are screaming and dogs are screaming. So I just muted y'all out for a minute.
I was going to say, I hope you muted. Otherwise, you need a new alarm system if you didn't.
All is good. All is good in Austin.
Well, I don't know. I'm still in my office. I'm hoping it'll all take care of each other. We're good. We're good. So,
You're among friends. It's fine. It's fine.
exactly. We're all we're all stuck at home. So whatever happens, happens. We're all living life together. So this is, you get to see the crazy behind my quad. So.
I've actually, talked to a lot of agents even before our call now about allowing yourself a little space to say, it's okay. I'm going to call a customer. My kids might be in the background. You might have dogs in the background. It's a different time right now. And everybody understands that. We all are going through the same thing. We're all doing our best to stay connected and make sure that we are staying in contact with everybody. So you might have kids in the background. You might have a dog in the background. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'd like to maybe just give a shout out to our staff. In times that are trying, of course, our agents are our customers, and I'm sure, people are going to have challenging situations, and our staff just day after day, we use the term agent success obsessed, but to see the multitude of things that our staff members deal with, the variety of personalities, it's just incredible to see. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that we have some of the most talented people on staff anywhere in this industry or anywhere else. And right now they're balancing the same thing. They've got kids at home, they've got dogs in the background. In some of our markets, they're right in the middle of some of the worst areas relative to coronavirus. I mean, a good portion of our marketing team is in Washington State. So I just wanted to say thank you to the staff. Not that they're watching, but.
No, but I agree with you. Our staff is pretty incredible from leadership all the way down to all the employees that we have in a virtual campus, right? I mean, this week I've gone into tech support. I've gone into accounting. I've gone in to get a DA change because everything's going nuts with, okay, we're doing online closings now, and the title companies and the lenders might not be as equipped. It's awesome that we're not part of the delay. I can go right in, and Darla or Marty Zapata, who are the ones that really focus on our stuff, immediately we have a response. And so nobody's waiting on us. And it just shows again how we're able to keep our business going, even in situations that aren't expected or known, just because we have been operating that way for so long anyway, that nothing's going to derail us.
I think Jeff Whiteside mentioned to me, were you speaking with him yesterday?
We did.
We were.
That's great. That's great. Jeff has been he's been phenomenal. It's just been so great to work with him. Great to get to know him. And so that's good.
Jason, over the last 10 years, I'm curious, what has been most surprising to you in this business?
I think two things. One is how giving, everybody is, and maybe I'm a little bit narrow in my perspective, and maybe I'm only looking at it through the lens of eXp agents. But I mean, we get to 75 hours of classes because people are willing to teach, people are willing to share. We can have conversations on Fridays because icons are willing to share what it is that makes them successful, rather than keep it close to the vest as a guarded secret. Right now Jay Kinder is on campus and he's teaching, and everybody knows what he brings in that regard. We've got some of the best trainers, some of the best coaches in the business, and they're stepping up in a big way right now. And so it's just reflective of something that I've seen over the last 10 years, which is just how much agents are willing to share, how much they're willing to give. And I'm sure that's true, at other companies as well. I have no doubt about it. But that's been a little bit of a surprise to me, but the other thing, interesting, iBuyer, there was such certainty 6 months ago that iBuyer was going to be the wave of the future, and that iBuyer was going to dominate the market. I was a little bit surprised at that, just sort of knowing what what down markets can do when you're starting to put algorithms together to figure out what the value of a piece of property is, and you've got to make adjustments pretty quick. And we've seen some of the big players discontinue their programs now. But I used to think about that, and it sort of surprised me a little bit, because you think about the Zestimate, for instance, and we all know that was historically has been off by a wide margin. So how do you sort of take that approach and apply it? So anyway, that's been a bit of a surprise. just how big of a deal that had become, and perhaps it will continue to be. But I think by and large, it's on pause at the moment for those that are taking inventory.
For those that are taking inventory, yes, but not for us. We still have our buyers that are buying, which is really awesome. So,
Express Offers has been, we're talking to our customers right now who are calling up to list, because we in Orlando, Jeff and I have had quite a few calls for potential listings, and we're having that conversation on an individual basis. Of course, when we are able and when it makes sense for the family to go to market, we're going to go to market. But there are times when having that instant offer from Express Offers is another alternative. And we are able to do that currently, which is another tool in our tool chest for both the customer and the agent.
And I don't know if a lot of our agents even know this, but under Express Offers, if you actually, go out and bring a buyer to the platform, you get a third of the platform fee on every single transaction that iBuyer engages in the platform. It's a huge opportunity for our agents as well. So just going back to what you said, what can agents do to start thinking about how to get through this?
Let's go back to that dinner, though, that we all had.
You're not letting it go.
I should have kept the napkin.
No, what's so funny about it is, like, that dinner was such a big deal. Looking back, hindsight's 2020. It was such an amazing dinner. Not even about what happened. Every time I bring up the dinner, though, Jason, you always go straight to that one little thing. Think about when we met. The company at that time didn't even have 400 agents nationally.
Correct.
Remember? And I was sitting there talking to you. I was like, my market center, my one market center I'm a part of, has 650 agents, and I'm talking to the CEO at the time, I think you were president at the time, right? About going to a company that has 400 agents nationally. I went for very different reasons, but tell me what your thoughts are. Look back at that dinner. And we have 28,000 agents anymore. Was that at all surprising to you? Or did you, to me, that was shocking. I never realized this would do what it did, but I would love your take on that.
Yeah, well, you won't admit it, but you were a bit of a catalyst in that growth. In a big, big way, more than a bit. And, but, from my perspective, going as far back as 2010, I always thought that the business model just made too much sense. It just created so many more opportunities that you couldn't provide if you approached the business in a traditional way, that it would work. It's been incredible to watch it happen. It's been great to see the numbers go up. I think it's been even more exciting to see the caliber of agents who have come over and who continue to come over. The top agents in states, the top agents in their market, top teams nationally. Some of the, some really strong people in our international markets too. What's happening in Canada is great. Adam Day and Stephen Lee in the UK and Australia, to have industry leaders like Tom Trong, and David Acosta. It just, the caliber of professional I think has been as much fun as anything else to watch. And it's also been fun to sort of see the brand recognition change a little bit. You go to the same conference year after year, and the number of, what's eXp responses drops. And that's been fun to experience too. But they're really, I think about it even now, and I think about the brokerage owner in particular now, and Glenn always talks about the perfect storm in 2008 that caused him to launch the model. And, back then brokerage owners were going out of business. They were leaving the industry, not because they wanted to, but because they had to, because they couldn't pay the bills. And, especially in the States right now where you can't do business, it's just not possible. In the next 30, 60, 90 days, I'm fearful that, a lot of brokerage owners are going to be faced with that decision again. And I think that eXp, just as it always has, but especially now, I think really provides an opportunity that doesn't exist elsewhere for those owners to come on in, join the family, leverage the credibility and the respect and the reputation that they've built up over the course of their careers, which will allow them to enter into markets that they never could have entered into before without investing huge sums of money, taking on a great deal of risk. They can do that now, and you can plug in and you can help the company grow in any of the markets that we're in. And you can also shed costs that are otherwise going to put you out of business, whether that's, fixed rent, staffing redundancies, whatever it might be. You can avoid all of those. You can avoid the things that you don't like doing, whether that's managing a trust account or an escrow account. issuing 1099s, all of those things that I think, people don't think about when they think about being an owner of a brokerage. We can take all of that on for them, and we can keep them in the business, because the people that have been in this business for a long time, who have gotten to that point in their career where they own their brokerage and they own their brand, and they've got agents who respect them and who are loyal to them, they deserve to stay in the business, and the business suffers if they can't stay in it. So I think we're in a position to help those people.
We are absolutely in a position to help those people. And it's interesting you bring that up. I don't even know if I've shared with either of you, but if we look back to 3-ish years ago, we joined eXp, Jeff and I, probably about a little over 2.5 years ago. Agents are typically told in the industry, there's a natural progression. You're a single agent, you're a team leader, and then, well, I guess you just open your own brokerage. And that's a path. That's a path. It's a great path, and it works. But there is an additional path. And I was so grateful that it was presented to us by Mitch Riback to understand that there's another way as well. Mm-hmm. And looking back at it now in particular, my goodness, it's been a crazy couple of weeks for everyone around the globe. But one thing that feels especially comforting is knowing that our foundation is strong because of what we've built. But we're also fully supported by, you talk about the staff in eXp world, you talk about leadership, Jason, all of the leadership is amazing. So Jeff and I, as a team leader, and Elizabeth, you're the same way. You get to go and support the agents and help pour into them each and every day. And we know that everything is still operating because we're supported so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also, on that, I think brokers, when people start independent brokerages or they have their own brokerage, that's really their heart. They want to be able to pour into others. They want to help build their businesses, but then they get so bogged down with all the details. That's why I didn't open my own brokerage. That's why I started talking to eXp Realty, because quite frankly, I didn't understand it all to what I understand today, but I just wanted something different, and I didn't want to open my own company. And the fact that I can brand myself, I mean, I'll be very honest. I told everybody Lux Property Group for the longest time. I never mentioned eXp because nobody had any idea who we were. Right. But now, in the last couple of years, I say it with pride. Lux Property Group, brokered by eXp Realty, right? So no, those brokers mean the most and want to invest so much into their agents, especially with what's going on now. They may not have that opportunity. And so those people are only as good as that broker. With our company, now they can still be the broker. They can still operate business as usual on our platform with support and add so much more for each one of their individual agents. So they're doing more than they could have ever done before to help them.
That's right.
When brokers understand that, then they look at our model in a little different light.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch Riback is a great example. I mean, there's a guy, when he made the move over, he was on the front page of him, and successful, it seems to me, at every single thing he does. And he was, successful when he made the move over. But I think the driving force, if I think about Steve and Sally Koss in Massachusetts, the same thing. They had opportunities to exit. They had opportunities to receive, good money in exchange for what they built. But they were determined that they wanted to provide what was best for their agents. They wanted to reward the loyalty that they had received, and they wanted to pay it back. And what's great for them is now all of a sudden you've got agents who aren't just out there as part of your sales force representing buyers and sellers, but they're out there spreading the word about the team, spreading the word about the brokerage, spreading the word about the opportunity, and bringing more and more good people in. So they become part of your sales force in that way too, in a way that as an independent, it can be very difficult to do within a single market. So I think especially now, and I'll stop saying it because I've probably harped on it enough. We really want to help brokerage owners because it's going to be a rough time. Undoubtedly in certain places. And so anyway, I'll stop with that.
No, you can't. Well, I'm speaking of Mitch, I had asked him one day, what made you an independent brokerage? He had 70 agents. I mean, he was set, right? He could step out of the business. I said, what made you choose eXp? And he said all the things that you said, but he also said, nobody would let me keep my brand. He said, I'd spent all this years and all this time building my brand and my reputation. And every brokerage I talked to wouldn't let me keep that. They didn't see the value in that. And he said, eXp did. And he said, that was the tipping point for me. Yeah. And I mean, people like Mitch or any of us that have worked a long time building our reputation and building our brand, that is valuable and people recognize that. So the fact that we're able to do that and eXp respects and honors that is a huge differentiator.
Yeah, well, I talk about the owners, but the truth is we put every single agent in the shoes of the owner too, because the opportunity is identical. Oh, here comes the dog. Hello, Dahlia. Yeah, it's anyway. So you can tell I get distracted easily. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's what we said earlier is we might have dogs come in. We might have kids come in. It's all good. It's all
Fire
good.
drills, we're good. You're fine.
Yeah, that's right. Fire drills. Well, I'm glad that Mitch came up, and we'll send Mitch a big virtual hug, because as far as my world is concerned, I know my life would have been a lot differently if Mitch Rebeck didn't make that call to Jeff and I. So lots of love for Mitch Rebeck for sure. I think
if you get a chance, guys, just maybe do me a favor, drop the link somewhere into our training calendar. Just, again, without, expecting anything or asking for anything or we want to just welcome people into a brand agnostic space where they can just continue to learn and get to, meet fellow people. So I just want to make that as easy as possible for folks. Sorry.
We'll make sure. No, that's a really great point. We'll make sure that we include it in, and anybody can come in and feel what we're feeling and what we felt for so many years. I think we have a couple more questions for you, Jason.
Okay.
And so this one is one of my favorites. In 3 words or less, what does eXp Realty mean to you?
Fun, family, and friends.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Elizabeth, I'd like to hear what I don't know if I've ever asked you that question.
You hear this? You're gonna have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Oh, fire drill. Okay, so one more question then. Poor Elizabeth with your fire. Is everybody okay, Elizabeth?
We're all fine. They're all just running around thinking they're okay now. Stop thinking like, oh, stop, drop, and roll. And I'm like, no, it's just the yard guys. But anyway, yeah, it's we're fine. You can tell I'm very fazed by this.
In 3 words or less, Elizabeth Riley, what does eXp Realty mean to you?
3 words or less. You've never asked me that question. Let me think. Connection, collaboration, and opportunity.
I love it. I love it. I
What
think
about-
we have one. What about me?
Yeah.
Family, opportunity, and collaboration.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, one last question for you, Jason.
Yes.
We see the hashtag all the time now, hashtag eXp Realty Proud, which we love and we embrace. What does that hashtag mean to you?
A couple things, well, what does it mean to me?
Yeah.
I think, I'm proud of a couple, it's a competitive business, right? Competitive industry. And I think our agents have done a great job not engaging in, sort of conversations that are less than friendly. I think we've not, for the most part, taken any bait on that. I think we've sort of, stayed at a pretty high level, and I think, we can be proud of the professionalism of our agents as we've grown. And then I guess I'm also just proud of sort of the spirit of kindness that I think exists within the company. The dog is driving me crazy. Okay. I mean, our staff, again, wonderful to our agents. Our agents are kind to our staff, or they should be. So I think, nobody likes to work around people that aren't, nice. And, there's a million different ways in which you could say that, but that's the way I'll say it. And I think we have a lot of nice people in the company, and it's a fun place to be because of it.
I love it. I love it. Jason
sums up Jason Gesing for us.
I know, right? The best, the best, the best. I know on both of our behalf, Elizabeth and myself, my family and yours, is I'm so grateful to call you friend, and couldn't be more grateful to be led by such amazing leadership in this company. You teach us every day. I don't know if you know that, but you do.
Well, I could argue. I think, the agents have really driven our growth. The agents have driven the ideas. The agents are the ones that are giving to extend a hand, and the agents are the ones teaching the classes. This is a company that was built for agents. and which has been built by agents, and may that always be true. But thank you guys both very much for doing this, and congratulations on all your success in the business and with the company. And I know we'll be talking again soon, but thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
Have
Jason.
a great day.
Take
Bye.
care, guys. Bye-bye.